Saudi Arabia and wraps up his three-nation tour in the UAE. Now back to Hannity. Welcome back. We are in Doha, Qatar, and here is part 2 of my interview with President Trump aboard Air Force One. We covered a lot of territory. There are many legs to your economic plan that you are laying out. One of the trade deals, second, is tax cuts permanent, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax overtime. Another leg would be energy, interest deduction on cars. Remember that. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security benefits to seniors, which is so great. Think of it. And no tax on overtime. There's a fourth leg that I think is really important of that where middle-income people. If you buy a car made in America, I'm not interested if it's made anywhere else. But if it's made in America and you borrow money to buy the car, which 80% of the people do, you get a tax deduction on your interest payments. That's a big deal. That's never happened before. Big deal for people that are buying cars. That's a huge game changer for the car industry. One part that you can't control, although maybe you can, is the one big beautiful bill. You put out a statement on that today. How confident are you having spent time with members? First of all, Johnson and Thune have been unbelievable. They are all heart and soul. They're working so hard. It's tough when we have the majority, but it's by 3 votes and there's a Republican. We're the Republicans in Congress. It is 7. It was actually 1, but now it's 7. I would say this, even before this big, the cuts that I announced, if you take a look at the pharmaceutical and drug cuts, they are so massive that I think a lot of Democrats have to vote for the bill, number 1. Number 2, even if I didn't do this today, even if there was no such thing as 50 to 90% cuts, think of it. You are selling drugs in other countries for 5 times more than it costs in the United States. How horrible that is, but that's going to be a thing of the past. They are cancer drugs. Sometimes it's very unfair to people. They have cancer and they don't have much money, but then they end up going bankrupt. People were getting themselves fixed up or not getting fixed up, and still they were going bankrupt because they couldn't afford the drugs. But if they lived in a different country, they would have paid just a fraction. Think of how horrible that is. So I fixed that. Nobody thought it was fixable, and I fixed it. Even without that, I think we would have gotten the bill passed. With it, I think a lot of Democrats have to vote. A couple of Democrats said I would like to be in charge. I don't know if you saw that. You have people that are moderate Democrats without mentioning names. Both of them said, I don't know about you, but I think I'm going to be voting for this bill. I think a lot of Democrats are going to be forced to vote for the bill because you add this element that if this bill passes, you get a 50 to 90% reduction in prescription drugs and pharmaceuticals. When you add that in, how does a Democrat not vote? I don't think they can win an election if they don't vote for it. Even if you don't include it, I think that the Republicans are very unified and something will happen where they will get this. I think it's imperative they vote. Look at the Democratic Party and the leadership that's emerged. Grandpa Bernie, they seem to be the most. I knew him right at the beginning, and I tell you what, Schumer, we call him the Palestinian senator, the senator from Palestine. Chuck Schumer is very disappointing. Is he afraid to go against that radical base? I think he's afraid. He's lost his confidence totally. I just watched Chuck Schumer I've known him so long and he's in the other party, but I've known him so long he's totally lost his confidence. Sean, it's interesting we talk about the radicalism of the left. Was really fascinating as you take up a lot of space in their head. It's funny, you said how could they possibly vote against lower prescription drug costs, but in the U.S. Senate, the Democrats were championing the right of men to play women's sports. They've been the party of fighting for the rights of illegals, even Tren de Aragua. They are the party thinks it's a constitutional crisis that you and Doge have had $200 billion in waste, fraud, and abuse. They think that's a constitutional crisis, so if you are asking how could they be that extreme, aren't they that extreme? I think you have a lot of them that they don't know where they are right now. I think they don't know what to do, like men playing in women's sports. I saw a guy that I know, good guy Democrat, he tried to justify on television, he's trying to justify men playing in women's sports, and it's sad. I wanted to call him and say you better get off that subject. That's not that it. That is 97-3. A lot of these things are not 80-20. Like transgender for everybody. Let's have a transgender for everybody. They always say that's 80-20. That's 99-1. So, I don't like talking about it. Because I don't want to talk him out of it, because it would be harder to beat them if they were normal and things. It shows they're almost insane. And they do suffered from Trump derangement syndrome at a high level. And I guess I'm honored by that. I will say this, we had an election. You were so wonderful to me. You were really an amazing professional. You did it for the right reason. You didn't do it for the wrong reason. You're so professional, and we won every swing state. People don't like districts.